Hello, welcome to Mysterios Divinos podcast. In this explainer, we're going to be looking up, but not at the stars. No, we're looking at their absence, at that profound darkness that has both fascinated and, frankly, terrified humanity since the very beginning of time.
We're diving headfirst into one of the biggest celestial mysteries out there, the eclipse. I mean, think about it. For thousands of years, we've looked up at the sun or the moon just vanishing. And what did we see? We saw a mirror. A celestial mirror reflecting back our deepest fears, our most passionate hopes, and our constant search for order in the cosmos.
So let me ask you this, and really think about it. When the sun, something we count on every single day, just suddenly vanishes from the sky, and that weird, unnatural twilight falls over everything, what do you actually see in that darkness? Is it an ending? A warning? Or maybe it's a message?
All right, so let's start at the very beginning. We're going to travel way back to our most ancient, our most primal interpretations. This is before science, before the major religions as we know them today. Back then, there was just this raw, gut feeling, this visceral fear that when the sun disappeared, it was under attack.
And look, this was not just some shadow play for them. This was real, all across the world. I mean, people separated by huge oceans, entire continents. Our ancestors looked up and saw the exact same terrifying drama playing out. A monster, a giant beast in the sky, literally devouring the sun, their very source of life.
And what's so fascinating is just how universal this story was. I mean, just look at this. You've got the wolf Skull in Norse mythology, kicking off Ragnarok, the end of the world. Then there's the demon Rahu in Hindu lore, or this massive jaguar god for the Aztecs. Different names, different places, same terrifying story. A monster is eating the sun. And this is it. This is the end.
And this wasn't just some campfire story. This was a real terror that gripped entire civilizations. Just listen to this. It's an account from the 16th century Florentine Codex describing how the Aztecs reacted. It says, "If the eclipse of the sun is complete, it will be dark forever. The demons of darkness will come down. They will eat men." Wow. You can just feel the panic in those words, right? The absolute certainty that the world was over.
So over time, as humanity started to evolve its thinking, that raw fear of sky monsters, it started to change. It transformed into something else. The darkness wasn't just a hungry beast anymore. It became, more personal. It became a message from the divine, an omen, a sign that needed to be figured out.
In Jewish tradition, for example, they made this really interesting distinction. A solar eclipse, when the sun is blocked out, the light that shines on everybody, that was seen as a bad omen for the whole world. But a lunar eclipse, that was interpreted as a bad omen specifically for the Jewish people.
And the Talmud explains why with this really powerful little story, a parable. It goes like this. A king throws a huge feast for his people, and the whole hall is lit up by this one brilliant lantern. But then he gets angry with them. And in his fury, he tells his servant, "Take that lantern away from them. Let them sit in the dark." So you see, the eclipse wasn't just some random cosmic accident. No, it was a deliberate act. It was a sign of divine anger.
But that's not the only way to see it. Not at all. Islam, for instance, offers a completely different perspective. The Prophet Muhammad was very clear. Eclipses are not omens tied to things like someone being born or dying. Instead, he taught that they're signs of God's incredible power. So it's not a moment for fear. It's a moment for prayer, for reverence, a powerful reminder of our place in the universe.
Okay, so this idea of a divine message, it can build into something way more complex and, frankly, a lot more urgent. For some people, an eclipse isn't just a sign. It is a tick of a giant cosmic clock, counting down to the final days.
In some modern Christian views of the end times, there's a very specific sequence of events laid out. It starts with a period of incredible suffering called the Great Tribulation. That all leads up to the last trumpet sounding, which kicks off the rapture. After that, you've got this period of divine wrath, the 10 days of awe, and then finally, the return of Jesus to set up a 1,000-year kingdom on earth.
So people who hold this view, they're always looking for signs in the heavens. And for some, recent eclipses seem to fit into this significant numerical pattern. They're seeing the numbers 5, 7, and 2 pop up in the timing of these events. And in biblical terms, those numbers are thought to represent grace, God's covenant, and division.
And this idea of a divine timeline isn't just in one tradition. Jewish eschatology also lays out a really clear sequence for the end of days.
It describes the coming of a messianic age, the resurrection of the dead, and ultimately a final divine judgment.
So let's just pause for a second. We've gone from cosmic monsters eating the sun to signs of divine judgment, all the way to the ticking hands of a prophetic clock. What's the one thing that connects all of these ideas? It's simple, really. It's our constant, unstoppable human need to find meaning.
When the sky goes dark, we just can't seem to accept that it's a meaningless, mechanical alignment. We see a story. For our ancestors, it was an epic battle in the heavens. For theologians, it was a divine warning, or a call to prayer. And for some today, it's a chapter in the final story of humanity. Each interpretation is a way of placing ourselves inside a grand cosmic narrative.
You know, the sky will darken again. It's a celestial certainty. And so the real question isn't about the sun or the moon at all, is it? It's about us. When that next great shadow falls across the face of the earth, what story will we choose to tell ourselves? And what will that story say about who we've become?
So if you like this explainer, subscribe, leave a like, and please comment on what you liked most. And share. I'd love to hear what story you see written in the sky. Thanks for watching.